It's G from Native Speakers Academy. I've just been looking for a shirt. Couldn't find one. Why do I need a shirt? I have to go to a wedding next weekend. Can I tell you a secret? I fucking hate weddings. Why? This is going to be really difficult to explain because everyone loves a good party, right? Everybody wants to celebrate the matrimony of their friends and their family. Everyone wants to make a commitment. Everybody wants to shed a tear, enjoy a romantic moment, have a drink, have a dance. What's wrong with weddings? Everything. First of all, I have never ever been to a good wedding. The food is predictable. The speeches are boring. The occasion is self-congratulatory. Is that a word? I'm just maybe. Who knows? You know what I want to say? It's ridiculous. The music is awful. By midnight, half the people are drunk and not capable of anything resembling a sentence. The people are overdressed. What a complete waste of time and money. The dress is expensive. And all of the preparation and planning and stress and hen nights and stag parties, and it's all bull. I rest my case. I've never been to a wedding which at any point or any sense or it was just people going through the motions with no real emotions. My car has told me there's a risk of ice. Ooh, the temperature just dropped 3 degrees. Okay. How could they all have been so terrible? They just were. It just seemed like everybody was killing time or only interested in getting fucked up. And don't get me wrong. I would go for it, man. Go. Don't get me wrong, I respect the fact that I got invited to weddings and I want people to be happy. But please, enough's enough. Stop it. The one wedding that I went to that had some sense or an element of fun or where people sort of enjoyed themselves was the one where I got so bored and everything was so boring and so dull and so monotonous and so predictable that I kidnapped the bride. I kidnapped the bride at midnight and took her to a pub and we got drunk. Seriously. Don't try this at home. The groom did find us and a large number of the wedding party eventually. But he was annoyed because all the cool people came with me. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So, what do you want to do if you want to have a good wedding? If I finally get round to organising one, it has to be different. I had this idea for a wedding in a balloon. Like, you take people up in a hot air balloon, and you take a priest, and you get married up in the air, and have your party there. Thank you. I'm still sneezing. Why am I sneezing? Nobody else has sneezing problems in their videos. Bless me. Thank you. Na zdravie. Up yours. So, there's one option. Second option, I don't know, I don't have one. Do it in some faraway exotic place. The less people there, the better. Do it at the spur of the moment. Invite a great band to play. Not some ridiculous wedding band. And don't have a DJ who plays ridiculously silly old music. Have one that makes you want to jump around, or something like that. Something different. Yes, but just keeping everyone happy is very difficult. Fuck that. My fucking wedding. I don't know, choose a castle, a nice romantic castle somewhere. Make sure you get a good photographer. Don't get too drunk the night before. I don't know. Do something like that. 2 degrees outside. It's gonna get colder as well. So, is this about weddings? Oh, not to mention ridiculous. The other thing is the ridiculous expenses on things like patterned frilly tablecloths, and cards with people's names on them, and invitations, cute little pictures of the couple. Go all Viking on a wedding, just have a big fucking bonfire and have everyone dance around it. Oh, you're so unromantic. You wish. fight my way through this cold I've got here and try to explain something constructive now that I've wasted 10 minutes of your life. I do not apologize. Never apologize, never explain. Mary Poppins never explains anything. There we go. Revelations. It's a day of revelations. So last week, I made a video about self-discovery, about trying to answer the question of who are you? And I was working with a student today through a business English session with the theme of success. And we came to a few interesting conclusions. From the obvious of money does not always equal success, to a rather unusual perspective on people's place and position in life, and the power of self-observation. Now, success in life, before you can define what success is, you have to understand what role you are playing. Because success is something different for everybody in every position. And if you are wearing many hats, husband, father, employer, manager, boss, director, worker, whatever, then depending upon which role you are in, you're going to define success differently. So before you can define success, you have to ask yourself, what is my role? What is my role here? And it has to be a real role, not a fake role, not an acted role, not an irrelevantly presented role. You've got to know your role. And once you define your role, you can then begin ever so slowly to examine what success means to this kind of role. Now, one of the problems that I've had, which is why I'm making these videos, is that I find it very hard to listen to people clearly and objectively. Now, I do a lot of listening in my job, a lot of it. Sometimes I sit down for 30 minutes at a time and I'm just listening to what someone is saying and making notes. And listening to the structures of their language and the structures of their logic. And giving feedback. And I get in the way of myself. my greatest barrier is my own inability to be objective about my own actions. My need to step outside of my ego, which, however much we repress it, tends to, or however much we try to suppress it, tends to appear in each conversation sooner or later. And what my student said today was a revelation. He said that to listen clearly and carefully means to not be yourself. So you can't listen clearly or carefully or objectively if you're inside of the situation. If you're in a situation of either conversation or conflict, there's no way. There's no way out. You're trapped within the parameters of the norms of conversation, of turn-taking, and that means that you can't be objective. You cannot play the game and watch the game objectively at the same time. It's not possible. You can't do it. No one can do it. The only way to do it is to record the conversation and to sit and listen to it again and to observe yourself. By observing, you can then serve your own personal interests. You can serve the needs of yourself. To listen clearly and carefully is to not be yourself. So you need to step outside of yourself to view anything objectively. Now, it might be obvious, but it's still a revelation. How cool is it? Let me know what you think. Oh.